when you're dealing with the distributors in China, they're extremely different than dealing with distributors in Brazil or in Uganda or in the United States. So combining people that understands distribution, understands the Chinese system of distribution, and that really put together a plan that made Budweiser, that made China the largest market for Budweiser in the world. 2 years ago, there was a moment of rupture in our company. For the first time, we sold more Budweiser and made more money in Budweiser than we made in China. Where is Budweiser from? What is the proud city of Budweiser? Wrong, it's Guangzhou. So Budweiser today is proudly from Guangzhou. Guangzhou is our largest market for Budweiser. And that, I'll tell you, a lot of people in St. Louis complaining the company that had to stop growing in China. How come? But was an impressive measure that the way that this plan was architected and really like all different elements of, if you wish, consumer markets. So that you get an idea, the very first value is the same almost everywhere, which is protect your family. And then there's a codification of values. And what we invested time to really go over the matrix of how China was evolving and the feeling of freedom for younger people to be able not to follow what your father or your mother are telling you, but to be free to live the life of your dream. That thing was like a home run, was a grand slam. Like you literally hit the ball out of the park with all bases loaded. Like it was big. So it was positioning the brand on the right way, focus on premiumness, because by generating margins, we could invest a lot of money behind the brand to build its momentum. Focusing on trends that we could own, and in China there was a massive electronic music trend like boiling over the last 5 years. So we really focus every single artist, every single event that we could associate ourselves. Not sure if any of you ever been to a Storm event, that for the last 4 years is Budweiser Storm. We started with only Shanghai. This year, we're more than 15 different Storm events, but really creating a reference for electronic dance music events in China. And finally, trying to resonate to a key moment of celebration in China, which is the Chinese New Year. So for the last 10 years, the key promotional moment for Budweiser is the Chinese New Year. And one thing that I'll tell you, also trying to understand China, which zodiac year was 2014? Horse. What is one of the key icons of Budweiser? We brought 8 sets of 10 horses from St. Louis to China. We got authorization from the government. There was an amazing night at 30 below zero in January in 2014. But we did like the arrival of the horses in the Great Wall. Like there was this part of the Great Wall, the gates. And the way that we were able to connect the year of the horse, and then I forgot the meaning in Chinese, but the horse brings you wealth. And like we're able to line up a campaign, which is something true to the brand. Like if your brand never saw horses before, you're just not going to bring horses because it's the year of the horse. A brand like the Clydesdales, that was one of the foundation of the brand in the United States. And how do you bring the elements of the Chinese culture that are natural to your brand and in an occasion that makes sense to your product? So across the years, the amount, the share of consumptions that we captured in Chinese New Year was totally disproportional. And a lot of Chinese innovation for us, by the way, is by far the largest rate of innovation for Budweiser around the world. All of them was about Chinese New Year and celebration. Beers specifically designed for KTVs and for Chinese restaurants. I don't know if any of you ever saw Budweiser Brewmaster. Budweiser Brewmaster is sold in a bottle. You can try to check that in Baidu. But it's a bottle that is retailed between 120, 150 RMBs. It's a higher alcohol drink. It's to be drunk in a glass of cognac. It's not to be drunk cold. And it's like, literally, is how we start to get into cognac territory. We created knowing that the Chinese profile, Budweiser, the original one, is quite a strong beer for the Chinese profile. We have Budweiser Supreme that you're going to find in a lot of the higher tier restaurants, which is a Budweiser in a transparent bottle, which almost looks like a bottle of wine. But anyway, all innovations of Budweiser were focused on this positioning of being free to live the life of your dream, focus on premium, a lot about trendy, strong trends, especially around music, and celebration with the Chinese New Year.